Good evening and welcome to the St. Paul Parish Party for Catholic Charities. We're delighted that you are joining us and that you are watching the virtual video this evening. As with all parties, we hope you are enjoying some food and a beverage. My name is Phil Punswick and this is my wife Terry.
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We are here to raise awareness of Catholic Charities in Northeast Kansas, and to show you how you can become a volunteer.
We're also here this evening to benefit Snowball, which is the annual gala event that generates over $3 million for the Catholic Charities Foundation of Northeast Kansas. This funding provides critical services to individuals and families throughout our area.
We are thrilled to be partnering this event with our friends Mark and Patty Couch. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Phil and Terry, it's our honor. We enjoy supporting Catholic Charities because they help so many people regardless of their faith. Catholic Charities, along with their volunteers and donations, truly live out the corporal works of mercy that Jesus taught. It's a great model that we can all follow of how to treat others as if they were Christ in disguise. One of the ways that I volunteer is with the auxiliary group in Olathe. Catholic Charities has a duplex that they use for temporary housing. And when one family moves out, the auxiliary comes in and cleans it and gets it set up for the next family.
I enjoy volunteering because it's a way to give back. Patty and I manage the refugee warehouse at the Hope Distribution Center, which basically we put away donations coming from parishes and turnstiles. We set up a household with bedding, furniture, dishes, etc., whatever a family needs, a refugee family needs to move into our area. We also work closely with Catholic Charities staff to have everything ready when it's needed. Phil, Terry, can you tell a little how you're involved?
Yes, Mark. I've been a member of the Women's Auxiliary for the past 5 years. We have nearly 80 members in our group, and almost half of those are women from St. Paul Parish. Our mission is to recognize the dignity of each individual that we come in contact with, and to treat them with compassion. Our members truly live out the corporal works of mercy. They're very passionate about what they do when they volunteer in the clothing closet, the food pantry, Family Resources Center, the resource bus, turnstiles, and Shalom House.
And I enjoy working with our Catholic Charities Food Recovery Program and also with the food drives at St. Paul. These important ministries are crucial, and they provide us with continuity within our parish community, with our Olathe community, and other areas within our archdiocese. Your donations and your financial support are important to us and to keep these programs going in the future. Thank you for being generous in your time and also your resources.
Yes, and anyone who makes a donation will have their name entered into a raffle to win 2 tickets to the Snowball on January 16th, 2021.
Thanks, Phil and Terry. As you've heard, we're all involved with Catholic Charities in various ways. But we're not the only ones at St. Paul who are active volunteers.
Before we hear from some of our fellow parishioners about how they volunteer and support Catholic Charities, we want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in tonight and listening to different ways that you can support Catholic Charities.
My name is Carol Wheeler. I'm a member of Olathe St. Paul Catholic Church here in Olathe. I got involved with Catholic Charities about 5 years ago when I retired. I needed something to feel like I was giving back to my community that had been so giving to me all these years. I got involved with the Shalom House because, I don't know, it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, they said that they need people to help prepare a meal for the 24 men that are at the Shalom House. So I thought, well, I could do that. You know, that's a good thing that my family could do, and we did it. The first meal we took down, we were able to eat with the gentleman, and that was kind of a treat because that was way out of my comfort zone. But the gentlemen were so nice, and they sat down with us and told us a little bit about what they did. The gentleman that we sat with had a job and was telling us all about that, and that he was hoping to, you know, eventually get out on his own. The center was a big step in him with his recovery and going through that process. After we ate, I don't know what he is, the proprietor of the center, took us on a tour. And I was very, very surprised. It was very neat, very clean. The men call it the Taj Mahal of the homeless shelters in Kansas City. So I was like, wow, I'm really involved in something really neat here. So I've done that 2 or 3 years now. And this past year has been quite a challenge with COVID. We took down some sack lunches, and then another time we took down just a meal, but had to just leave it in the car, and then they came and picked it up from us. We were kind of disappointed that we didn't get to eat with them because, again, it's just a whole different experience for us, and it was very rewarding for us and our family. Catholic Charities is always a giving organization. Through 2020 and COVID, it's just another way of Catholic Charities giving back to the community.
Hi, my name is Ann. In 2005, I joined the Women's Auxiliary that supports the Olathe Family Support Center. We do all kinds of things for the caseworkers. One of our major jobs is to maintain and run a free clothing closet for clients who come in. One of the favorite stories that I like to tell is of a little girl when we were in Topeka, Kansas. She and her mother came in and they took care of their business and then came to visit us. The little girl spotted a pair of like white Mary Janes, and she wanted them, and so we kind of put them aside because they had some other business to attend to. And when she came back, she walked around the table because she knew where we'd put them, and she picked up the shoes and hugged them to her and walked around to her mother, and she said something very quietly. And I said to her, "What did you say?" And she said, "Do we have to pay?" And this little girl was about 5, and to me that just broke my heart that a 5-year-old would be concerned that, you know, do we have to pay? So it just makes you feel good to be able to give something that is dear to their hearts. It does give you a good feeling when someone comes in and doesn't have a pair of shoes, or the shoes, the soles are cardboard because, you know, they've just worn out. And it's just rewarding to be able to find that pair of shoes and, you know, get them out of there in a lot better shape than what they came in. It's a small thing, I think most people would think, but yet to that one person, it's a huge blessing, I guess.
Hello, my name is Sue Ercolani. I'm a member of St. Paul Catholic Church. I have been volunteering at Olathe Family Support Center in Olathe for over 20 years. And I'm also a member of the Catholic Charities Auxiliary. Volunteering comes naturally to me and is an important part of my life. Giving time at St. Paul's Church and school over the years, and also in our community. Volunteering is a gift passed down from my parents, which I cherish deeply. I think back on my life as I grew up in a small community in Northeast Kansas. So presently, I help schedule volunteers in the clothes closet, which the auxiliary began about 15 years ago. So we sort donations, which supplies clothing for men, women, and children in our community. And this is a great need. We help those who are homeless, those who have been incarcerated, those who have lost everything, and also when there is a death in the family. But most often, we help the families with clothing as each month their paycheck goes for utilities and rent, and by the end of the month, there is no money left for purchasing clothing. So helping those in need is very rewarding to me, and also good for one's own well-being, and also gives us an opportunity to act out the corporal works of mercy. I would recommend volunteering at the Olathe site. Just giving a few hours a week each week would be greatly appreciated.
My name is Art Urkalani, and I am a parishioner at St. Paul Catholic Church in Olathe. I retired from my working career in 2005 and decided to devote volunteer time to Catholic Charities as a means of serving my church and my community. One of my activities with Catholic Charities is to provide volunteer assistance at the monthly harvester food distributions that occur in Olathe. The large harvester's truck enters the distribution location around 8:15 in the morning, and the driver unloads the pallets of food items being distributed that day. Volunteers surround each pallet and separate the items into quantities based upon the number of families that we expect to serve that day. The individual families slowly drive through the distribution area, stopping at each pallet where volunteers place several of them into the trunks of their vehicles. By 11 o'clock that morning, an average of 80 families have passed through the distribution lines. Another Catholic Charities activity that I am involved with is the daily pickup of donated food items from 6 Olathe supermarkets and the subsequent distribution of these items to 14 different food pantries, senior citizen facilities, or communities in and around Olathe. The reward to volunteers is the smile you get from the families going through the harvester lines, or the individuals selecting products such as bread and pastries at the food pantries. Please get in touch with me if you're interested in being a bread runner. Thank you.
My name is Cindy Eichmann Call, and about 3.5 years ago, my husband John and I were on a little vacation in Connecticut, and we received a phone call from Father Michael at St. Paul, and he asked, he had told us that Catholic Charities and the New Roots for Refugees program was looking for a place to establish a pop-up market for one of the farmers. And Father Michael asked if I would be interested in coordinating that between the Parish of St. Paul and Catholic Charities and the New Roots for Refugees program. So I said yes, and in that respect, my husband John also said yes and came along for the ride. We found out there are 14 farmers in the project and on 9 acres of land. And we weren't exactly sure who we would have, but we were assigned Nyla, who is Kareen, and I made just a little chart so people can see how to pronounce his name, because it's a little difficult for me, and he is Kareen, not Karen. And he's from the Burma, Myanmar area, although he's not considered Burmese, he is considered Kareen. And he grew up and spent most of his life on the Thailand border between Burma and Thailand. He was orphaned by the time he was 8, and he spent 3 years of his life with a pastor in, it was a Seventh-day Adventist pastor in Thailand. And then after that, he spent the next 19 years of his life in a refugee camp. and he came to the United States in 2014, and he became part of the Catholic Charities refugee program when he came here. And he and his wife were married. I should back up a bit. He was married while he was in the camp, and he and his wife had 4 children. They have 2 boys and 2 girls. So since 2018, the parishioners of St. Paul Parish have very faithfully supported Nyla in the market. And as Father Michael reminded me, this is a corporal work of mercy to support refugees. So I think it's really important for the parishioners to realize how important this particular small program is. So this year, it was a bit of a struggle, but the parishioners really stepped up and supported him again. And we were told by the program director that he actually increased his sales by 27% over last year, which is really good because most of the other farmers were not so fortunate just because of the logistics of their markets. So again, I just want to say the parishioners of St. Paul have been great supporters, and everyone who's been involved has shown great kindness and patience in how the program has worked. I think it's really important to give back. I think we in this country, for the most part, have been very blessed, especially when we compare ourselves to someone from another culture who's been persecuted for either their ethnic background or their religious beliefs or whatever else it might be. So we've been very fortunate. And I actually saw a quote this morning that really struck home. And I think this is what we do. And the quote says, "Do your little bit of good where you are. It is those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world." And I think right now, and that was from Desmond Tutu, so Archbishop Desmond Tutu said that. And I think that's important right now, that instead of despairing about what's going on in the country, we each need to do what we can, our little bit of good. And I feel like that's what we've been able to do. And so John and I have been very blessed with this, and we thank Father Michael for asking us to be involved.
Well, hello everybody from St. Paul Parish, Olathe. Good to see you through the camera. And I just want to say, as pastor, that we're really proud of our relationship between St. Paul and Catholic Charities in Northeast Kansas. This is an important relationship for our parish. And the reason is because Catholic Charities supports the gospel. And the gospel most directly that has to do with taking care of the least of our brothers and sisters, those who are in need, is Matthew 25. And Jesus spoke about this very clearly, about when I was hungry, you gave me food, and I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. Catholic Charities is doing all this, and this is why we're proud to be a part of it. And so we know this, that when we donate to Catholic Charities, we're fulfilling the mandate of Jesus in Matthew 25. It's right out of the gospel. So I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of this relationship that we have. And one of the bonuses is that we get to participate and volunteer and be a part of it. We just don't, like, a lot of us are check writers and we can give the donation, but a lot of us also want to help out and volunteer. And Catholic Charities gives us these opportunities. Here in Olathe, down in Lula, down at the community center there, we have a number of parishioners, our fellow parishioners, who are volunteering for Catholic Charities and helping out and getting to meet the folks who are in need and giving them an encouraging word and a smile. The other places where we find St. Paul parishioners helping out, in Overland Park at 87th and Farley, at Turnstiles, and at the office there volunteering. We have parishioners from St. Paul helping. And also even at the warehouse on Steel Road in KCK, and to the point of delivering meals to Shalom House, which is the homeless shelter. And we have parishioners that go to 13th and Parallel to deliver meals to the people who are at Shalom House. So that's one of the bonuses of our relationship with Catholic Charities, is we get to help. And we fund it, but also we can volunteer. and retirees to confirmation students. So I really like that a lot. And of course, other ways that we've been helping. The once a month food drive, that has been a big success for us. We all know this. There are a lot of people with food insecurity, especially with the pandemic and the economic stress. So we get to help them. And just this last month, in the month of September, we had our record food collection, and the Knights of Columbus are helping us with that. So that is a big part of our mission, is the food collection, and also the refugee program, the food market that we've been having, the vegetables that we've been supporting the family, very important. And let me just say this about the refugee program, but this is biblical, that we open our doors and we give a welcome to refugees. And Catholic Charities has been there on the front lines of this program for years. And I'm super proud of that. And also that we have a refugee family that's been coming to St. Paul on Sunday morning selling vegetables. And so that's been an important part of our program at St. Paul, that we get to welcome the stranger. So, and I thank Catholic Charities for giving us that opportunity. Now, we're gonna see a video that explains more about Catholic Charities and their programs that tie into the works of mercy, Matthew 25, the Gospel of Matthew 25. And this will get us ready for the Catholic Charities Snowball, which will be coming up. So I appreciate you paying attention to the video. Thank you.
It's so important for Catholic Charities to be out serving during this pandemic, not only because of our Catholic faith and the fact that our organization is rooted in that, but it's beyond COVID. This truly is a call by God to love and to serve one another. And again, it's what makes us unique in this community.
I'm grateful that God has touched all of our hearts to recognize that there's such a need and that we want to respond. You know, there's always hope, you know, within our church and within our world that people know that it's not just about me. It is about us as a community.
As it says in the Bible, what you do for the least of my brothers, you do for me. And, you know, just seeing all of the wonderful people dedicate their time and their energy in the community of the Catholic faith and the Catholic Church, is that we've been around for 2,000 years. We've seen a lot of things that are worse than this. And this, our faith and our community, gets us through these times.
Well, you know, where else would we be? I mean, you know, people would ask, what would Jesus do? I like to ask, where would Jesus be? And today, this place with so much need and so much fear, Jesus would be right here.
It has been a huge privilege for me to serve on the front lines. And I say that because I get to actually see, you know, these frontline workers, our volunteers, the love that they put into action every day.
Without us, where would everyone go? I mean, we have a mission and a purpose to be here and to serve those who can't necessarily help themselves. And so that's what kind of keeps me going each day, knowing that there's someone out there that needs the services that we're providing.
Service and love transcends economic status, it transcends language. I think people just know.
Regardless if you're Catholic, if you're not, we're all called to love, and we see that a lot, especially at this COVID time, just all coming together in the name of love, which I think is a beautiful thing.
I am most grateful for our volunteers who have, as I said, come together in such an incredible and inspiring way. Staff coming in from other departments who are working here every day. They've, on more than one occasion, dropped everything to help us out when we were in a jam. So that has been inspiring, overwhelming. Those are debts that I will not be able to pay back.
You know, they could be staying at home, they could close the doors, but they can close their doors. And that is what's really taught me, is the resilience of Catholic Charities and all the wonderful things that they are doing, and they're not afraid. I believe in the Bible it says the most time, 365 times, it says, do not be afraid. And at this time, we should not be afraid.
What makes me most hopeful through these strange times is the unity and the solidarity that we've found in just our humanity. but the opportunity to serve, it enacts your faith. When you're working side by side, sleeves rolled up, helping your fellow brother and sister, I think that is a place where divides and walls start to break down and then cease to exist.
For me, because I'd actually considered not doing this because I'm in a high-risk group. And then I remembered when my son went into the military and I was concerned. And he was like, Mom, but if I don't do it, who will? So if you can't expect that out of yourself, how can you expect it out of somebody else? And that's the part that keeps me here.
I choose to do this because that's what Jesus said, serve others.
Oftentimes the news gets overtaken with such bad things going on in this world, and but it's awesome to see that there's still good out there, and it's awesome to see people come together. So I'm just grateful for everyone that has stepped up, whether that's volunteering, whether that's donating, our staff that are here or at home that are coming together to work through this crisis.
I think it was Mr. Rogers who said, when you see scary things on the news, look for the helpers. Well, how lucky I am that I work side by side with those helpers every day. They inspire me, and I'm just grateful to be here.
Good evening, St. Paul. I'm Lauren Salita, I'm President and CEO of Catholic Charities in Northeast Kansas. Phil and Terry, Mark and Patty, I am so incredibly grateful for your willingness to embrace change and host tonight's parish party using this video format. I'm so appreciative of St. Paul for your volunteerism, your generosity, your prayers, and for your authentic belief in the mission of Catholic Charities. Do not be afraid. God is with you. You were born for this. This has been our rally cry at Catholic Charities in Northeast Kansas throughout the pandemic, and truthfully well beyond. Last spring, the worldwide pandemic hit, and in what felt like an instant, our operations would forever be changed. Our ministries outside of food distribution, shelter, and Catholic community hospice halted as employees shifted into the unknown of new roles and expectations to meet the urgent needs of our archdiocese. Individuals, families, our parishes, school districts, neighborhoods, and even several small businesses turned to Catholic Charities for help, hope, and hospitality. I am deeply overwhelmed by the generosity that continues to flow from our supporters, as well as the willingness and fortitude of our employees and volunteers. The incredible stress and uncertainty that they each have met with complete self-sacrifice has provided newfound hope for so many. At Catholic Charities, we believe that we were all born for this time, this place, this situation, and we all have something to contribute to our neighbors in need. St. Paul Parish is the perfect example. You engage with so many of our different ministries, including our Olathe Family Support Center, mass food distribution, Shalom House, New Routes for Refugees, and so much more. Since January, you have donated the greatest amount of food, nearly 67,000 pounds, compared to all the parishes in the Archdiocese. To that end, I hope just like tonight that you will gather with your family, your friends, and fellow parishioners and join us for our first ever virtual snowball. With your support, we will continue to do what God has called us to do, to serve the most vulnerable children, women, and men among us. Again, I thank you for responding in this way, for hosting the parish party virtually this year, and I look forward to seeing you on January 16th. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Craig Gaffney, and this is my wife, Karen. We have the honor and privilege of serving as the 2021 Snowball Presidents. When we humbly accepted the invitation to take on this role, We had no idea that we would be, hopefully, the only snowball presidents in history to not see any of our fellow supporters in person throughout this season. Nevertheless, we are grateful to be in this role and to be able to share this message with you today. We accepted this invitation because of our longtime volunteer efforts for Catholic Charities over the last almost 25 years. Karen and I first became involved with Catholic Charities due to the invitation of Ben and Betty Zarda to become involved with the Catholic Charities Golf Classic that will celebrate its 40th anniversary next May. We dedicate our snowball presidency to Ben and Betty, who both passed away over the last year. We love them dearly. Additionally, Karen was one of the founding volunteers of the Gathering event that supports Catholic Charities' New Roots for Refugees program. And in my case, I had the privilege of serving on the Catholic Charities Foundation of Northeast Kansas Board of Trustees for 6 years and serving as board chair for 2 of those years during that time. During the same time period, I began volunteering on our Snowball Patron Committee and continue that today.
On a personal note, one of Catholic Charities' programs, Catholic Communities Hospice, holds a special place in my heart. They provided support to me and Craig while caring for my dad in our home the last year of his life. With the combined efforts of Catholic Charities Hospice Program, the Sister Servants of Mary, and the U.S. Veterans Administration, Dad had the best level of care. We are eternally grateful to the incredible team of caregivers at Catholic Charities who helped make our final time with Dad so special.
And so, Karen and I close our brief remarks today. We invite you to join us to prayerfully consider making a patron gift to support the incredible programs Catholic Charities provides throughout the 21 counties of the Archdiocese of Northeast Kansas. And please do consider joining us for our first ever virtual snowball celebration on January 16th, 2021. And the great thing about celebrating a virtual snowball with your family and or your closest friends from home is you don't necessarily need to get all decked out in formal wear. Perhaps a creative pajama or slipper snowball party could be the garb for the evening. Let's make this a snowball we'll never forget for its creativity and for raising funds for those in our region who are so desperately in need of our assistance at this time. Thank you again for supporting Catholic Charities Northeast Kansas. Please visit our website, www.catholiccharities.snowball.org, for more information. God bless you all.